Button clicking.
Chills every time, just chills, man. I love it.
That's like the greatest mashup video of the AFC South that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah,
It was
no,
never the Titans.
it's
The best part.
Huge shout out real quick to Danny. Let me look at his Twitter handle. I never remember it by hand.
By hand? On hand?
Offhand, whatever.
There you go.
At Danny G. Leal was the man who constructed the new intro for the podcast, and we're talking about some other new improvements coming very shortly. So keep an eye out for those things. Danny, thank you again. You absolutely nailed it with this one. Can't wait for the next step here. But folks, let's go ahead and get the housekeeping stuff out of the way. We're trying to grow. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. We're at 360 at the time of this live stream, and we're trying to hit 1,000. Trying to get that monetization. We're also trying to hit that. Let's have a 25 like goal on this episode. Let's go nuts. Let's go nuts. All right. You want to get nuts? You want to get nuts?
Go nuts.
Let's get nuts. Where's Michael Keaton when you need him? Anyway.
What is that? The Shia LaBeouf video?
Yeah. Just do it. Yeah. So yeah, help us grow, help us reach our goals of hitting 1,025 likes on this episode. Let's get it. So the week one finally was here. We're watching the final game of the week here on Monday night. And good Lord, the AFC South looked pretty abysmal outside of one team. I mean, what was it? The Titans and the Texans combined for
8 field
goals and no touchdowns. How many interceptions did Ryan Tannehill have? 3?
3.
It was just a bad week. Just a bad
Actually,
week.
should have been 5, but they got lucky.
Yeah. So we're going to be covering all of the AFC South games, and we'll be getting some deep dives in it. I, of course, am Curtis, the host of the channel, and I'm a Texans fan. Isaiah, our resident Jags fan, is going to be breaking down the Jags-Colts game with us. And then Jeff, obviously Colts Nation over here, is our Colts guy. We'll be talking about the Colts. And then Titan Fox, name speaks for itself. That's our Titans fan for the day. Blake is, he's doing dad stuff right now. So hats off to that. And let's get this, boys. We're going to start off with the Saints and the Titans. So Titan Fox, I hope you've got some strong words or just words in general to describe this Titans game. What you got?
I have, I had some very strong words last night, and I'm glad that my TV did not get injured because of them. But there was a lot of things in that game that really kind of spoke to me. Like, for example, I actually expected for Ryan Tannehill to have a bad game because they refused. This is the third year in a row. They refused to give him any practice in the preseason. And it's been since December 17th was his last game that he actually played because he was out with injury for the rest of the year. So he needed to knock the rust off.
Yeah.
And that's basically what this game was to me, was him knocking the rust off. And it did not look good. And you're going to get that with any sort of, returning player, which I would have thought of would have been the same case with Calvin Ridley, but he did not have any rust somehow.
Well, he played in the preseason, so.
Yeah, right. So as far as the offense goes, yes, everybody's complaining about the actual the Ryan Tannehill thing. Yes, 3 interceptions. It's terrible. But the way that our defense and special teams kept us in the game, it actually surprised me that we lost because I mean, we were a few plays away from being winners. I mean, for example, when the ref said that wasn't a fumble and they whistled the play dead when Kevin Byard was running it back, Arden Key had just strip sacked, and I'm sorry, but everybody, even the announcers, the Saints announcers, were both saying, and literally they're in Louisiana. They're like, no, that was definitely a fumble. That was definitely a fumble. I don't know why they whistled it dead. And Kevin Byard could have easily run it back. So I'm just like, well, there's 7 points right there. We lost by 1. That could have been something.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that Tim Kelly is changing up the offense a bit, though. The only thing that really hurt me, and this is the last thing I'm going to say before we get on to somebody else, is the Saints last year had like one of the worst rushing defenses in the league, but one of the best pass defenses in the league. If you're going to try out a new method, Tim Kelly, don't do it in this game. Don't go straight pass. Run the hell out of Derrick Henry because you already know that they're weak at that point. And they forgot to do that.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's my point.
Okay. All off season. Not all off season because he wasn't on the team all off season. But from the moment DeAndre Hopkins joined the Tennessee Titans in the off season, I have been saying that one of the drawbacks to having DeAndre Hopkins is the fact that you're going to target him a lot. And with that brings interceptions. I brought up the point that when his last season in Houston, Deshaun Watson's touchdown and interception numbers were okay, but not great. And then he leaves, and Deshaun Watson's touchdowns go up and his interceptions go down. I think there's some sort of logic here. And it's mostly that that DeAndre Hopkins is a freak athlete, at least in Houston at that time. I'm not saying he's not now. I'm just saying he definitely was then. You're going to give that guy as many opportunities as humanly possible to catch a pass. And those were double covered opportunities. Those were occasionally triple, single coverage. However, DeAndre Hopkins for the longest time was never not open. And that causes a lot of chaos in the passing game because 1, you're going to throw him the damn ball. 2, it's just a matter of how many people are in coverage around him. Doesn't matter if the ball placement is particularly great. The man can bend and contort himself to catch anything. It's just a matter of it, and it doesn't even matter the level of quarterback play. It's just a matter of how often you're targeting him because defenses will key on him no matter where he's playing. That's really all I got about that because that to me spells a lot of 2 of his interceptions were targeting DeAndre Hopkins. And there were probably a couple other ones that could have been intercepted, but he was targeted 13 times, caught 6 passes for 70 or 7 passes for 60 some odd yards.
What was it? 13 times he was targeted?
13 targets. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And Lattimore was on him for about at least 10 of those.
Yeah.
And that dude is brutal.
Yeah. No, he's not to be messed with. Isaiah, Jeff, you guys got anything?
Yeah, I know. They were, like you said, they were knocking the rust off. But, I think Blake had a point. Derrick Henry always gets off to slow starts. And, he had, 60-something rushing yards. And I think that's kind of in the ballpark of what Blake said. It's like if that's going to be a stat line, then I don't see Tennessee winning. Like it's every time he goes over 100, the Titans win. And that was last year. So it's like if you don't feed the man, I mean, you brought
unless they're playing Jacksonville.
But, well, yeah. I think there was one game he went over 100.
200 yards.
But Yeah. But yeah, when Tannehill's passing 34 times and completing less than half, and you have Derrick Henry putting up 60, that's you're not gonna. But yeah, there was that bad no call on the fumble. It was clearly a fumble because the same thing happened in our game. We'll get to that later, but it was the same exact thing. And I don't know why these refs are blowing those plays dead. I mean, you can overturn it if you're wrong. So, but yeah, that's just my point. You gotta feed
I think they're being too self-conscious about it. Like, well, I don't want to admit that I made a mistake, so I don't care what the replay booth shows. Just, I don't want to lose my job. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, it's got to be something. Isaiah?
Yeah, I mean, kind of what I said before the show, talking with TF, is that, even Tannehill's best year, they still ran a pro style, they still ran a West Coast pro style offense. They weren't running spread. They weren't forcing it to AJ Brown every play whenever they had AJ Brown. And bringing Hopkins in has kind of added another element that they didn't have, but that they're trying to overuse now with this new offensive coordinator. They really need to try and stick to their game plan. And I think too, with that offensive line being, basically brand new, all 5 players are playing either a different position or they're new to the team. It's going to take a game or 2 or 3 or 6 or 7 for them to get used to it and be a better unit. So I'm not talking about their loss total. I'm talking about, but anyway, no, but it was.
I hope
there was
not
definitely
7 games, but you're right. You're right.
No, there was definitely a lot of stuff though that it's really just them not gelling right now, and with getting limited reps in the preseason, like TF mentioned. I mean, it was bound to happen, but they'll probably be able to bounce back from it. But we'll see how it goes from here.
Yeah. We got some comments here. Let's start off with Robert's comment. Robert says Cisco is going to get Tanny's balls too.
Yes, sir.
Dark Thunder says, well, RIP the Packers getting the Jets' first round pick. Blake in the chat. What's up, Blake? Tighten the F
he
up.
Could be here, but no, he's in the chat.
He's here in spirit.
Clearly a fumble, just like last year in the Jags versus Titans game to end the season. Clearly a fumble.
Jeff says, want to bet. Dark Thunder says, refs try not to make it about themselves. Challenge impossible. And Isaac Mitchner says, SOS, Rodgers just went down.
Sending out an SOS. Oh, Curtis just.
Oh, boy, he's gone.
Well, welcome to the Isaiah and Jeff with TF show.
Now we can
Jeff and TF,
I was wondering if Blake Bellamy, when he said Titan TF up, was saying expletive deleted or Titan fuck up.
Oh, Isaiah's on the hosting chair. Oh, he switched it.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. You know how sometimes you can just like swipe on the touchpad and it'll just be like, oh, you're done with this window.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just happened to me.
What's it mean, RIP Curtis?
Oh, it's because I disappeared.
Come on, Blake.
Because I disappeared. I was gone. I was out.
Oh, okay. Rest in peace, guy.
Yeah.
We had 12 people watching for a second there. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. And then I messed it up. What a goof.
It's okay. No problem.
What a faux pas.
Go Jags.
Robert says go Robert. Jags.
Yeah, I'll talk about the Cisco stuff here in a minute because it'll be whenever it's my time to shine, which is at the end because winners go last,
Yes.
All right. Which game are we going to next then? Houston Ravens?
Houston the Ravens.
All right.
I
have some comments when you're ready, but you go first.
Absolutely.
CJ Stroud played a pretty good game, all things considered. He was sacked 5 times. The offensive line was legitimately a turnstile all game. The running game could not get going. And instead of kind of going 50-50 like they had been planning on, it became predominantly passing the ball, which is helped by the fact that like their top 3 corners did not play. Marcus Williams got hurt in the game. And, of course, J.K. Dobbins tore his Achilles at some point in the game. They had 2 offensive linemen go down. The Ravens are now trying to beat the Titans record for the most injured people in the history of the world.
The Titans took the record from the Ravens, so they're showing their Achilles heel nice and early.
Oh, snap.
Oh,
just like that, yes.
2 years in a row. Snap, crackle, pop. J.K. Dobbins. All right.
R.I.P. J.K. Dobbins. So yeah, the Ravens game was everything I thought it would be. I didn't think the Texans offense was going to be able to move the ball very well. I thought Dameon Pierce would struggle. I thought the offensive line would really struggle, especially considering 3 of the 5 starters did not play. The offensive line is going to continue to be a problem. The question to me, and I don't think anybody will give any sort of actual answer to this question, is if, we're sitting here at week 8, week 9, week 10, and every single week CJ Stroud is getting blown up 5-6 sacks a week. At what point do you consider pulling him? If the team is not good and he's getting destroyed, why not try to save that man's confidence and save him for a year where you have some cap space and you're able to put more pieces around him? I would much rather see Davis Mills go out there and get the crap kicked out of him, or Case Keenum, rather than a guy that we're trying to portray as the future of the franchise. And with that, I guess we'll go Titan Fox.
I do have an answer, and this is just a personal opinion. If you get to week 6, because CJ Stroud, I'll be honest, he's looking like a rookie first start quarterback, but he's looking good at the same time. Like, he's looking like there's potential there.
Yeah.
I would say come week 6, if you guys are, let's say, 5-1.
1-5.
Sorry, 1-5.
Yeah.
Sorry, if you guys are 1-5,
5-1, bench him. No.
yeah.
5-1, take him out.
Thank you guys. I appreciate that.
Hey, no
If you guys are 1-5, I would probably say put Davis Mills in there and just say, let's ride the rest of the season out and say maybe try and get a good draft pick next year and wait for DJ to develop. But right now, the way he's looking, I know it's only one game. And it's the same thing with Brian Tannehill. There's only one. It's only one game. But did you see the play where he caught that fumble?
No, I was at work. Somebody's asking if you're drunk, TF.
I am not. I happen to get 2 numbers inverted. I may have dyslexia.
he's got the dyslexia, y'all.
Bro's got drinklexia. It's okay. That helmet's not spinning. That's just how drunk Titan Fox is. It's projecting. No.
Oh God.
You're good, TF. Thanks for being on with us.
No, I mean, he's an athlete and he's got all the potential in the world. My biggest question is like, if he's just getting destroyed, you gotta sit him down, because the team around him is not great, and it's not like they're just going to magically get better. Some of these wide receivers probably aren't starting wide receivers for other teams, and it's pretty gross. We got some comments here. Rayshawn Finney says, Colts what? Colts strong. Leslie with the drunk question. Jeff says, hell yeah, Colt Nation. Leslie says, I got dyslexia to the shite. And then drink Lexia. Love that. All right. Well, Isaiah, you got anything about that Texans game?
Stroud threw for more yards than I thought he did. It was kind of weird seeing him throw for 266, but have 0 touchdowns. That was kind of interesting to me. But of course, it's one of those things that happens. And he's young and he's getting the shit beat out of him out there. I mean, funny enough, I know this isn't our talk, but like, we sacked Richardson just about as many times, but that was because he was running for his life and running out of bounds. So it's like he took just as many sacks, but he wasn't getting hit like Stroud. So that's one of the things you got to look out for. I think, probably like, I know I wouldn't personally take him out. I would hate to see him get hurt, but I just think that he needs to get as many reps as possible. But at the same time, I could definitely see the reasoning why you would take him out if he's continuing to get beat up like that, because of course you don't want to ruin your first round pick this early. The defense didn't do as. I mean, I don't know. That was just the Ravens have a solid offense. I thought the Texans' defense would be better than that. I didn't think it'd be a blowout like that. But at the end of the day, it's still a really young team. Just like a lot of the teams in the division are getting younger. I mean, it's one of those things that they'll get used to it, and it doesn't help losing your starting right tackle like 2 days before the game. So,
yeah. Well, it wasn't even 2 days before the game. It's just when we put him on IR.
I'm just saying, like, it doesn't help losing your starting right tackle. Is just the point I'm making.
Yeah, and of course during the game, George Fant, his replacement, got hurt.
Yep.
And then they replaced him with a
Who could have
backup
seen that coming?
guard center. So, yeah, it was pretty rough. Jeffrey?
Yeah, I mean, I was actually really because unfortunately, I was watching Red Zone. I don't get a lot of, I don't get the Colts here in Houston, and I'm not paying YouTube Sunday ticket price. Just saying. But I was looking at scores, of course, and I was actually really impressed with the Texans, at least in the first half. I mean, it was what, a 1-point game at halftime, and I thought the Texans defense played as well as they could, given their offense was pretty poor, really poor.
Yeah.
I guess I'm excited to see the future matchups because I actually really like the defense that Houston's put together. I love D'Amico Ryans. I was high on him in the offseason. So I really expect, that defense to kind of carry over and, kind of carry the team. But I'm kind of with both you and Isaiah on this. It's, kind of a two-headed coin. Do you get him all these reps, or does he get his ass kicked behind the line? It's just.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, let's just say we leave him out there. He gets his ass kicked every week. The only thing he's going to learn is bad habits and how to run for his life. That's not necessarily conducive to a great quarterback.
I was surprised that he relied on Woods a lot. Like,
he's the veteran
how bad
presence.
He was for the Titans last year.
Yeah.
Every receiver's bad for the Titans.
Thank
Oh, bye-bye, Brees Hall.
you, Jeff.
Oh, he ran out of gas. Good Lord.
We got some comments real quick, and then we'll get back to you, Jeff. Bayshawn says...
Yeah, but at least he threw a touchdown. So
could be worse. Bryce Young was getting destroyed, I heard. Yeah, he was getting pretty well lit up.
I mean, Trevor got his ass kicked all his first season, too. So, I mean...
Yeah, but he wasn't 5'5".
Isaac,
I'm referring to Steve straight up.
Isaac, we do 2 live streams a week during the off season. It's 4, and you can find us on YouTube, and it's a little bit more of a direct line with us.
Yeah.
Jeff says twice a week. Thank you, Jeff, for answering. And then Bayshawn's got some funny reacts. All right. Okay, Jeffrey, finish up your comments with the Texans if you can.
I mean, obviously the game got away from them there in the second half. I thought they performed very admirably. At least their defense did in that first half. I was really surprised to see it be a 1-point game. So, there's that. There's positive. I'm going to try to be Mr. Positive. But when you've got your rookie quarterback throwing the ball 44 times and your top backs averaging a little over 3 yards a carry, it's just, behind a battle line, it's just that's not a recipe that's going to win you games.
Yeah.
So they kept him in the game as long as they could, but it was not a winning recipe.
Yeah.
For the Trevor comment, I'm pretty sure Trevor threw 60 times in his first game, if I'm not mistaken. With Urban Meyer, so
yeah.
Are you serious?
I'm pretty sure he threw like 50 or 60 times in his first game.
If I'm not mistaken, that sounds right, because he played the Texans his first game.
Actually, I think that is right. Yeah. Yeah. Gracious.
Hey, Bayshawn, thanks, man. He says he absolutely loved the podcast.
Hell yeah, bro.
You should subscribe if you're not already.
Hell yeah.
Love to keep you around, man. Thank you.
Subscribe, like it, share it.
Yes, tell your friends. All right. Well, let's move here to the final AFC South game on the docket this evening.
He threw 51 times against the Texans, and he threw 54 times against Seattle that year.
Nice.
51 and 54.
That's crazy.
Let's start off with the Colts side of this. Okay, sweet, Bayshawn, sweet.
Last time I talked, I said everything about the game before Jeff could talk. So I'll let Jeff talk first this time.
Jeff, lead us off.
All right, so pretty much everything that we said in the post or the pregame, podcast, we were right. I felt that the Colts, they were going to have to get pressure on Trevor. I wasn't high up on our secondary. I think they had Dallas Flowers playing on Ridley, and he got burnt. Yeah, and it was to be expected if they weren't gonna, there was at one point I was pissed because Trevor Lawrence had no pressure, and then they kind of turned it up. On defense, they did really good. It was a 14-7 game at half, and at one point, the Colts had the lead. And it was because of a strip sack fumble, returned by DeForest Buckner. This. I don't think Shaq made too much of a huge impact. It was just nice to see him in the stat line at all. He had, I think, like 5 tackles.
Franken looked damn good.
Franken was flying everywhere. No, you're good. I was just about to hit him.
18 tackles, dude. That's fucking crazy.
Ridiculous. Yeah, he was fucking flying everywhere. I like that linebacker duo. I saw Grover Stewart get in there in the backfield and come up with some big stops. Overall, there was a lot of times, both offenses were really aggressive on fourth down to a fault. But the Colts came up with a lot of good stops. They just unfortunately didn't do anything with it. But we got to get the big storyline, and that was Anthony Richardson. How was he going to do? How was he going to be? He had 13 starts, I believe, in college, and a lot of people were, man, it's going to be bad. And he pretty much put up a very similar stat line to Lawrence. And if you look, I'm not going to say that he's the next Peyton Manning or Andrew Luck, but his first game stats were much better than theirs. So it's really promising. I'm not saying that he's going to be the next Peyton Manning, but his numbers were better than their first game. So there's a lot of positive to look forward to. And I think one of the biggest things is, man, we need to get a running back in, man. I don't know if it's going to be Jonathan Taylor. But I don't think I've ever seen a stat line like this where he ran 13 times for 14 yards. Like I've never seen. Your leading rusher was 40 yards, and that was Anthony Richardson. So that's bad. That's not good. Pittman went out and did his thing. I don't know if it's just me, but he looked a lot faster than he has in the past.
He looked
like
quick.
He flew on that screen. He was hauling it.
It definitely helps that he had Rayshawn Jenkins running with him, who's not exactly a burner. So,
True.
But no, he really did look fast down the sideline though, like more than usual.
And to get to, I guess, Leslie's point that they just make, he needs to throw it deep. And that's supposed to be Alec Pierce's domain. Yeah. And I have a lot of hopes, he'd kind of start emerging as maybe the Colts' true number one. Pittman's been great, but I don't know if he's that true solid number one. I think, right now, I don't think there's a question about it, but I thought Pierce would start to slowly kind of dethrone him. And it just isn't happening. Like, I don't know if it's route running or, he has sometimes butterfingers.
Yeah.
I mean, he did it last year in the first game against the Texans, dropped a really easy, well, not easy touchdown. Nothing's easy, but what should have been a touchdown. And, preseason, he dropped what should have been a touchdown. So it's just, if you're going to be that deep ball guy, you got to catch him. Just because you can beat them doesn't mean that doesn't mean shit. So I'm starting to lose my patience with Pierce. I'm hoping it was just maybe jitters. I don't know, but he had one catch for 5 yards, and that's just not good enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was really happy with the defense. It was a loss, but at one point they led, and man, I'm excited what Anthony Richardson can do. There's a little scare there at the end of the game where he came out hurt, but apparently it was just like bruising. Yeah. So he's fine.
I think Robert's trying to say Aluakun kept up with Pittman on his blocked pass.
Yeah, he had a really nice pass defend.
Brock says Colts Nation, baby.
TF might not be drinking, but Brock is.
No.
We're all drinking, baby.
Hey, if you're new here, hit the like and subscribe button. We're trying to grow.
We're
Okay.
growers, not showers, but we're hoping to be showers one day.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
I feel like the fact that Anthony Richardson pretty much had more rushing yards than the rest of the Colts, it kind of speaks to the value of a running back in this league and the fact that they're being undervalued at this moment. Like it's just that's just pointing it out. Plus, Anthony Richardson is just a beast.
Yeah.
He really is.
Yeah. He's a physical specimen. I mean, there's no doubt about that. He blew us all away at the scouting combine, and he's going to have those huge athletic plays from time to time, and I think that's what we can kind of hang our hat on with him. If he can tighten down the accuracy a little bit,
Tighten down. I like that. No.
it's the inverse. It's the if he can figure it out and get a little bit more accurate, then I think he's going to be a very dangerous force in the league. I'm wondering because I know his interception was late. Wasn't it late? Like,
Yeah, and
Tyson Campbell baited him on that one.
I liked his even his post game. He was like, "Yeah, man, I like the read, I like the look, I love the play." And he's like, he couldn't say in the presser that he's fucked up, but that's basically what he said. And it was like, I just got to get better. I got to. He basically saying he didn't put a lot of loft on it. So
yeah,
he's even taking the blame for it. So I appreciate it.
Honestly, on that one, oh, go ahead. My bad.
Oh no, you're good. Even still, like 24 of 37. I mean, that's not terrible for a rookie, man. I mean,
no.
I'll get to that.
For him having accuracy issues, I mean, that's
yeah.
I'll take it. I'll take the stat line.
Leslie says, Leslie Allen Turner Jr. says, I hope they open up the playbook a little more next time. And yes, the running game sucked bad.
Well, you're kind of -1 Jonathan Taylor, so it's going to be a little rough.
Scarnhorst 42 says Richardson looked good, exactly what you wanted from a rookie QB game. Duval. Jeff says exactly. Brock easily just slide.
I feel like my license plate's back.
Sliding is just something his coaches will need to drill to him.
Yeah.
Campbell baited him.
Oh yeah, baited the shit out of him.
It was just a bad throw.
It wasn't a bad throw.
We got to pay JT, but for now, hopefully Moss can help out until he gets back. Deion Jackson declined this year. Evan Hull got injured, but he had a run that got called back because of holding.
Yep, he had a nice run. That was
really
a nice
run.
Yeah, I mean, and one thing about that throw with Anthony Richardson, what I'll say is that was honestly a really good throw by him when he decided to throw the ball. Because the problem is he waited too long on that read, so he had to try and throw a bullet on the sideline. If he would have lobbed it, it would just been up on the sideline, and they'd just been standing there waiting on it. Yeah. Tyson Campbell, he took a 3-step bite on the flat to bait him, and he flipped his hips and took 2 steps before Richardson even threw the ball. And I think Richardson noticed him bite. He started rearing back for it, and Campbell looked good. He made a play, but he waited too long to throw that. If he'd have thrown the same exact pass like half a second earlier, Campbell doesn't make that play because he could have put more under it. But the way he waited, because Mo Alley Cox was standing at the sideline waiting on the ball at that point, which I don't know why you're even throwing to Mo Alley Cox more than 2 yards down the field, but that's beside the point. It was kind of interesting to me that they brought in James Robinson a couple days before the game, and honestly, like going with 3 active running backs, or actually was it 3 or 2 active running backs? I think it was 2, Hull, and because Moss ended up being a scratch. No, it was 3 because Jake Funk was there. Yeah, it was Moss, Jake Funk, or not Moss, Hull, Jake Funk, and Deion Jackson. I think they should have just honestly picked up Robinson and just. I mean, what's the worst he does? Not any worse than what they put on the field. I mean, that's for sure.
It can't be worse than 1 yard of carry.
But again, you can't see into the future. They had Jake Funk on the practice squad. But Jacksonville's defense, I'm going to say right now, it was uncharacteristic of them how they played, and hopefully that's not the case. But we're 2 busted plays, one by the offense on that fumble recovery for a touchdown, and one on that screen from potentially the Colts only scoring 1 touchdown because they were stopping them all night. and then whenever I said on the podcast, like on the preview, I said we need to just sit back. We need to rush 3 people, let him get after Anthony Richardson. And as soon as we rushed 6 people on that screen play. We rushed 6 people. They're in the backfield, and they just they all froze and just stood there because they saw Anthony Richardson slinging out to the sideline to Pittman, and Pittman took off for a touchdown.
Yeah.
It was a good game though. Josh Allen looked freaking great. He hit he made a couple hits in the backfield. He had the 3 sacks, which again 2 of them were at the boundary. Yeah, I just saw that. I have him in fantasy. It's a fine for me. But Trayvon Walker had a sack. That was great to see. He had 4 tackles at the line of scrimmage. Foye Aluakon had a sack that Anthony Richardson somehow got the ball out on that one and tossed it, which ended up not being a sack. It was almost bad, that one, but luckily it worked out for him. I think Richardson looked good. I think the 24 completions is a little bit misleading, mainly because of the fact that Jacksonville was sitting about 15 yards off the ball every play, just waiting for him to throw it. And they threw, a decent bit of quick game and everything, but all things considered, he did look really good. He threw a couple of passes that were really nice, and he had that off schedule throw where he was running out to the sideline and threw it back over the middle. That was nice. He can make any throw in the building. He just got to work on his consistency. Whenever the game plan kind of fell apart and we were stopping him on those 4th downs, Steichen got a little frustrated, and then Richardson had to try and do it on his own. He just couldn't end up doing it, unfortunately for him and the Colts, but fortunately for me. But really, the Jacksonville defense looked really good, honestly. I mean, without our defense playing like that, I think the Colts walk away with that one because their front 7 was disgusting. Even EJ Speed looked really good when he was coming in and rotating. Shaq Leonard, I mean, he was there. I don't think he did anything special, but I mean, he held it down.
Some hits.
He had a couple decent tackles and everything. Franklin was a monster. Freaking even Samson Ebukam looked great. He looked really good. He had one play that was, I think it was Jamal Agnew or somebody was going around the end, and he just blew up Walker Little and got to it. That front 7 looked awesome. They were disrupting Trevor all night. There were a couple plays where Trevor had a lot of time to sit back there, and honestly, he had a couple where he threw it basically as he was getting hit that probably should have been sacks, or they got their hands on it. But at the end, I think Anton Harrison played pretty well. I was really surprised to see how good he did. Brandon Sheriff went down. We had the injuries. Tank Bigsby had a couple rookie mistakes that he had the tip, and then he didn't even touch the guy down, when he had an opportunity to. I don't think he realized the guy actually caught the ball. And then he had the one where he picked up the fumble from Trevor, and he just kind of stood there, get on the ground, run. There was no whistles, And again, that's a rookie mistake. And one thing I like to see though is the previous regime, and I call it a regime even though it was 13 games. He would have benched Tank Bigsby, and Tank Bigsby wouldn't have seen the light of day. Yeah. But they stuck with him, and late in the game, he put it away for us because he kept his feet churning, and Brendan Strange got a hold of him, and the O-line got a hold of him. They pushed. I mean, he was dead to rights. They pushed him 6 more yards.
Dude, he stuffed it for 2-yard loss, and he just
and then they gave it to him again. He scored a touchdown. I mean, it was a good game. Our rookies really did show out. Brendan Strange didn't get any passes, but he had a lot of really great blocks in that game. He sealed the edge on the ETN run. That he broke out for a big touchdown. It was a good night for Jacksonville, but I really do think that Anthony Richardson played well, better than I expected, but I kind of expected the game plan and everything to be what it was. And again, even though we were sitting back and playing like that, he still took advantage of it, and he ran a good game plan, and he did what they asked him to do. He tried to do too much at the end. I'm glad they pulled him. I know too, Trevor Lawrence in the press conference, they asked what he said to him because they met at midfield and talked after the game, which clearly he was fine if he was able to run out there to midfield and talk. Trevor did tell him, and he said in the press conference, he told him, he's like, hey, look, he's like, it's a long season. He's like, take care of yourself, get down. He's like, you're going to get beat up. He's like, take care of yourself. So hopefully he really takes that to heart. I think he's going to have to learn sooner or later that when you're going against linebackers that are your size or bigger and DNs, and you got to go down sometimes, I mean, especially when you got guys like Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker that weigh more than you and are just, not just as fast, but are fast,
Let me pause you. Let me pause you for a second. Let's hit some comments.
I'm almost
sorry. Leslie says Anthony needs to slow them early passes down. It's like he's throwing 300 miles an hour.
He's got a big arm.
He does. Brock
Like on
easily
the
says
cannon.
time to pay JT since we don't have any plans on signing a veteran running back.
Yep.
I didn't feel like the Jags won by 10 points, but we did, so it's good stuff. Happy with Josh Allen's play, and Walker got a sack. GG's. Texans look like a good team. Honestly, y'all's defense is going to be legit, I think, says Skarnhorst. Bayshon, hats off to the Jags. They earned that.
Yeah, it's a hard fought game.
Isaac, Jets downgrade Aaron Rodgers from questionable to out. X-rays were negative, which just means no break. Update on Aaron Rodgers.
Thank you, Isaac.
Titans 1 point loss, always tough.
Yeah.
Brock Easley. Indeed, Trevor Lawrence is on the verge of elite quarterback status.
Yep.
Bayshon again. Facts. I was hoping we picked up James Robinson. We did have a workout.
Yep.
The O-line was very disappointing.
Yeah.
Leslie says the Jets are done. And the play calling from Shane was terrible on fourth down.
That's the comment that I want to hit on real quick.
Yeah,
Is this all gonna be
Jackson
spoilers?
Mills was bad too.
So yeah, it was. I love aggressiveness, but there are times where you can feel the game flow of something, and it's like, okay, we didn't lock down JT, we refused to pay the man, but we went out and paid a fucking kicker.
Yep.
And he's a great kicker. Fucking use him. Like, you had all these opportunities to put points on the board, and instead, like, know the situation, man. You know, there are times where I'm like, yeah, go for it on fourth down, and other times like, kick the field goal. Plus, I've got him in all my fantasy leagues. Kick. Just saying, man.
Armchair quarterback. Armchair coaches.
On that comment too. Literally that first fourth down we went for. Jacksonville comes out and they come out in the heavy package with three tight ends, and I say, I'm gonna fucking laugh whenever we do some cute shit, and right before we snap the ball, we're gonna switch into shotgun and we're gonna throw a fucking screen or some stupid shit like that. And sure enough, they do it. Swing screen to Evan Ingram, the guy, the Ebucam or EJ Speed or Franklin, whichever one of those freaks it was, blows up Brenton Strange, our rookie tight end, and gets him, and we don't get it. And then later we bring in it's 3rd and 4, and we run a QB sneak. Why are we running the QB sneak on 3rd and 4? Trevor Lawrence is 6'6". He's not 12'10". And then we bring it on 4th down again. It's 4th and 1. It's 4th in the length of my phone. And they come out there and they have 2 extra tight ends that they move as H-backs behind the tight end in our left tackle. We got 600 pounds of beef on the left side of the scrimmage with an extra 500 between our tight ends. And we run we run a fucking A-gap quarterback sneak to the right, and our guys are to the left. Like, I get misdirection. Just hand the fucking ball off and let Tanks Bigby do it. Let somebody do their thing.
Yeah.
Like, it happened last year too. We lost a couple games, or we got close to losing a couple games because we're doing cute shit. I don't like cute shit. Don't do a swing. Don't do a fucking swing pitch on 4th and 1. Run it up the middle. Shove it down their throat. Run a pass. I don't care. Like, it was.
But it was after all this shit. Like, okay, Colts get momentum back. They stuff you guys at midfield, and then what do? Run for 1 yard, incomplete pass. Run for 2 yards.
Yep.
Oh, great. We're at the 48 and have to punt again.
Robert says PFF said front 4 all over 90 for Colts. Jags O-line average 65.
Fuck.
That's pretty solid. Jags D is a squad that surprises you. You watch giving the eye test and it feels middling, but they really put it together when they need to.
It's crazy too, because they say our offense didn't do great. We scored more points than we've ever scored before we've never scored 31 points before in the Colts house. We've never done that.
I don't think they're referencing the offensive line directly when they say that, though.
No. They're saying like our offense didn't look good, in general. And I'm like, we scored 31 points. That's the most we've ever scored in Indianapolis, or probably even in week 1. They didn't look great, but they didn't look bad.
No, not at all.
It was a good outing.
Okay.
Robert says Strange carried Tank to the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
1 out of 5 on 4th down.
Yeah.
Bashan, maybe it's me, but the AFC South will be better than the North this season.
I think it's you, Bashan.
I think that's you, bro.
That's just you.
and we'll be better than the West.
Ooh, the West.
Oh, you're out of your mind.
I don't know about that.
I will say this: we have an up and coming division. Of
Yes.
a lot of
Yeah.
young potential talent.
It's up and coming, but also what needs to be up and coming is your hand taking the crack off of those cornflakes.
Jesus.
I think Bashan's drink Lexic too, but no. I'm just messing with you, Bashan. No,
Maybe means the NFC.
Maybe.
That would make more sense.
If that's an NFC, so. I would agree.
But that would be like any XFL division would be
the LFL.
Brock says, I know the Colts. Brock says, I know the Colts will win more than 4 games.
Oh man, but that's it for me though. I think our defense looked better. We'll see.
True.
Yeah. Bashan says them Bengals and Steelers looking shaky. I can't fault you on that, but it's still week 1. You know, there's a lot of football left to be played.
Someone other
Brock
than
says, I know the Colts will win
football?
more than 4 games. Somehow Tampa won, but Baker being Baker. Broncos and Raiders. Yeah. I mean, you're right. But in the AFC South, there's probably like it's almost interchangeable about who could be the bottom 3. So, yeah. I mean,
there was a lot of surprising victories, though. You got to admit, like I did not expect Tampa, the Raiders, like just so many of them that just kind of popped up, and you're like, did that really happen? But then you remember, it's week 1.
Yeah.
I mean, the Lions beat the Super Bowl champion Chiefs.
Yeah.
It's just week 1. Give it a chance.
Are you trying to say you don't think the Lions are winning the Super Bowl because they beat the Chiefs in week 1? Is that what you're trying to say right now, TF?
Yes, sir.
I'm saying the
I think that is a
did win the Super Bowl because they beat the Chiefs.
Nice. Let's see.
We're technically the champs.
Exactly. Leslie gets it. It's week 1. Look, we know that there's a lot of time left in this season. We know that these guys are going to get more and more chances. There's going to be a lot of growth in this division. It's just going to take time. The Jaguars did not turn into what they are right now immediately. It literally took 2 head coaches and a year and a half to get there.
I mean,
and that's 2 years. I would
first
round picks.
Yep.
All Peterson had to do was come in and say, "Look, what that guy did, the opposite."
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Do the opposite.
Whatever he said, don't do that.
The Bears win their first game last year.
Yeah.
Took 2 first overall picks too. It did. Look,
Sir.
I'm not saying that it didn't. Those things didn't help, but like you had to. There's a couple years of suck before the incline starts really presenting itself.
Sometimes you got to suck a couple things before you can move forward. That's just how it goes.
Brock says, you think Ballard is on the hot seat?
I think because of bringing in Richardson, I think that the seat has cooled off just a little bit. I think he was more on the hot seat a lot more last year, but now you got a rookie quarterback. And if he showed promise like he did in yesterday's game, then I think the seat's cooler.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, you've got so much young talent on the team now.
Got some good young defenders that are hurt right now too. So, I mean, like the corners and I mean, there's some players that weren't playing for both teams that were key players. And that was like Richardson kept on busting us up the middle because we were missing Devon Hamilton. We had some smaller guys in there. I mean, it's, it was a lot. It was a good game to learn from. I'm glad we can learn from a win. Normally we're learning from losses. It's good to be able to learn from a win, but at the same time, I mean,
it's bad when Robert says it's bad when the Jags score 31 in the first game and we complain.
I'll take 31 every day. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Look, we're just trying to find.
Matt Ryan was putting up 9 points or whatever. I'll take 30.
Yeah.
I know. Literally, the 4 of us were like, "You got 31? damn it.
I got 9.
Your guys are allowed to score touchdown. No,
You got
Oh,
You guys are scoring?
that hurts my feelings, but I like it. It was funny.
No, Frank down in Carolina looks like Frank up here. Says Leslie.
Like, am I the only Colts? I gotta ask there's a few Colts people in here. Are y'all like happy to see Carolina lose? Like, because
Because
Oh,
it's
yes.
Frank Reich.
As a Colts fan, yes, I
Yeah,
love
it's
to
like
see
us
Frank
too.
Reich lose. Ha ha ha.
Oh, that Frank. Wow, I was so lost. Okay, that Frank.
yeah,
Frank
right.
Reich.
Frank Reich,
Oh.
yeah.
Scarred horse.
Am I happy that he's like, yeah.
May a girl never question my loyalty. I'm a Jags fan, and I finally feel that same feeling from 2017 and only 17.
It is I, fellow Colts fan, Isaiah Michelli.
Hello, fellow Colts fan. We Colts fans here
Yeah.
do.
Man, those Jaguars sure looked amazing. I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. From Colts fan over here. Haha.
And he's not drinking.
And
No.
I would never try to sell out for this podcast.
Absolutely not.
Me either. I would never in my life try to get an endorsement.
By the way,
Water.
I did refill this. So
Delicious.
now I am drinking.
That's all for me though tonight, guys. I mean, I think it was a good game. I think there was a lot to learn from for Jacksonville and the Colts. And I think Richardson looked really good. I think he did. He's gonna be good for a long time.
Yeah.
For sure.
Wait, hold on. Maybe I am drunk.
Oh, jeez.
I just noticed that Isaiah is wearing a Colts jersey.
He just put that on.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is my Andrew Luck jersey. So I ran.
I'm
Somebody
sorry.
was selling it on Facebook for like $25 in my area, and I was like, "Hey, I already paid for it. Just send it to me."
Yeah.
Love Andrew.
Hey, that was the last time they had good luck. So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Scarnhorse says, I used to live near Greenwood under income. I'm a softie for the Colts. I genuinely, really only have the Titans in the division.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's where we're all at. We
Yeah.
don't hate the Colts, but the Titans, though. The Titans.
I strongly dislike the Colts, but I hate the Titans.
Leslie says, take that off, and is disgusted.
Angry face.
What are you gonna do about it? All
Angry,
right, I'll take it off.
Angry,
I'll take it off.
Show
Uh-oh.
us the chest rug.
We're about to be. We better not see some man breasts here.
Show us the chest rug.
Oh no! He said he has back hair. Stop it!
Come on, show us the back hair. He described it once, said it was like an Indian weave blanket. I don't know what that means, but I'm intrigued.
It's
He's got it
scary.
braided. I bet he's got it braided
Ooh.
like a Viking.
A Viking. I
Robert
like
says,
that. That's a good
Richardson
comparison.
had better stats than the other rookie QBs, which is
Yeah.
true. Which is true. I mean, he was able to score a touchdown. Oh,
Oh my god!
okay.
What's up, Leslie? What's up, Leslie? I took it off. Meet me in the elevator. All right.
No,
Anyways.
oh my god! All right, I think it's a good start to.
Hold on.
I think we're done.
I want to give. There's a lot of people in the comments, so I want to leave with some stats that I saw to give the AFC South just some positive words of encouragement. It's from the Giants Cowboys game.
Oh.
And so here's the stats that I
You
saw.
found
on the
positives
thing.
in that game.
No. I'll get to the point. The Giants, they lost the game 40-0. They lost the sack battle 7-0. They lost the turnover battle 3-0. They had a blocked field goal, returned for a TD, and threw a pick six. No team in the NFL has done that and has all 5 of those things happen in one season. They did it in one game. So just remember, AFC South losers, it could always be worse.
Yeah, that's very true. Thank you for that perspective.
Yeah, all you losers.
No. I lost by 1 point, and I'm upset. But dang, you just set like 6 NFL records.
Mm-hmm.
I
Bayshon
said in the season. No team has done it in a season.
I know, but you got to take each one into account. So technically, that could be like 6 different records.
Bayshawn says, I do think 2 teams make it to the playoffs from this division, maybe 3. I feel it.
I think Bayshawn
I
needs to,
what
What
wanna
division
know
is he talking about?
The
Bayshawn
AFC
needs
South.
to Bayshawn needs to go down to the courthouse and change his last name to Henny from Finney because he's on something.
Leslie says that's disrespectful. God bless. Luck. Giants played worse than a college team. Yeah, it was literally like the Cowboys were playing Furman out there, or Vanderbilt. You know,
Oh, the jersey.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the Ray Rice
Oh.
jersey.
Yeah.
Mm.
He is on drugs. Says Robert, he is on drugs. Oh God. All right, we're having a good time. We're having a good time. We're having a good time. Well, I think we've come to a pretty good end here. Do you guys have any closing comments for your fan base at this moment?
Tighten down. It was never the Titans.
Okay.
It was never the Titans.
Jesus.
We're gonna rip on them.
Come on, Curtis. Come on, Curtis.
We are the Texans. It was never the Titans.
That's funny. We kind of stole your team. But no, not really. For real though, as a closing comment, I just want to say that I respect all of the AFC South, and I hope that every team does really well because, I mean, we deserve it. Think about our histories.
Yeah.
From
I
the
agree.
Colts to the Jags to the Texans to the Titans, we deserve some like spark, and I think we're ready for it.
Yeah. Well,
Long overdue.
yeah. I mean, we've been struggling for a while. Eventually, we're going to get out of this funk. I feel it. But, folks, thank you all for watching. We're trying to grow the channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We're trying to get 25 likes on the YouTube video. Isaiah, Titan Fox, Jeff, thank you for your time and your insights on your team. It's always a pleasure to have you on the channel. And thank you to everybody in the chat. Bayshawn, Leslie, Robert. I'm sure I'm missing somebody. Barnhorse, other Brock Easley, all those guys.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you for being in the chat today. You made it a very entertaining show, and I hope that we can continue having that happen. Folks, be good people.
Meet me in the elevator. Oh, yeah. Be good.
Just real quick, please, everybody share it if you can. If you really like the show, share it out.
Sharing is caring. All right, y'all. Be good people.